Alright guys, welcome. I want to talk about, in this video, I want to talk about the decision matrix. So for when you're in a bad state, when you're in a bad mood, and how you get out of it. And say, for example, you've just lost a fight to a homeless guy, and it just seems like the end of the world. And you're like, God, and it's happened to me so many times. A lot of guys say, James, you must have beaten every single homeless guy that you've fought, and it's not the case, mate. And it's not. People remember me starting out. There's the veterans on the scene who remember me when I was losing and how I got to where I am today. But a lot of the bloody young blokes, they think that I've never lost a fight with a homeless guy, and I just want to say that's not true, guys. So say you're in a bad mood. That's just an example. It doesn't have to be. You don't have to be fighting homeless guys. This is for everyone. If you watch David Bayer, he has the decision matrix. So if you have a negative thought, it means it's not true. It puts you into I forget the word that he uses, but you've got two states. You've got a good feeling when you feel good and when you feel bad, and if you're not feeling good, what he says is think about the thought that you're having, and that's not true. Say, for example, I've got to get my work, I've got to do my laundry before I go and fight the homeless guy, otherwise, I've got to do that. And that's what's dragging you down. You're putting in a bad mood, like I'm stressed, I've got all this stuff to do before I go off to the fight with the homeless guy. But then you say, what's the opposite of that? It's not, I don't have to get all of that done. I don't have to do it. And then I think, and I'm skipping ahead here, but I think he says that you look at the evidence. There are so many times we've got these limited beliefs where we have to do this, we've got to get our routine done for the day. But then there's sometimes you have a day where it just worked out, things just happen, you're flying by the seat of your pants, and you didn't get everything done, and it worked out bloody beautifully. You don't have to do that, So that's just an example, mate, So for example, you might have lost a fight with a homeless guy, and you might have this like, I'm a loser, I'm never going to be successful in life. How could I, I just lost a fight against a tiny homeless guy. He's a bloody tiny little fella, and he bloody taught me a bloody lesson. How did that happen? And you think, I'm a loser, and what's the opposite of that? I'm not a loser. This is part of my journey, I'm going to be very successful in life. It's got this fighting this homeless guy, losing to this little 5-foot homeless guy. That's a turning point, and it turns into a positive. So yeah, the decision matrix, bloody have a look into it, guys. It's bloody good. Good luck with it.